Well, we'll get started. So again, what you'll be seeing in our PowerPoint today is an overview of the RFP. All of you presumably have seen the RFP. If not, we'll show you where that is. But I'm going to provide a brief overview right now. And at the end of this PowerPoint, we're happy to answer some questions. So we have a two-part process. We have a pre-proposal phase, and that's the primary focus of today's talk. So pre-proposals must be submitted in order to be eligible to submit full proposals. We do have some specific priorities that have already been identified, and do want to emphasize that this is a research competition, so successful projects would have a clearly stated hypothesis and focus on a research component. Some of Sea Grant's other RFPs do not necessarily focus on research, but this specific competition must have a hypothesis and a focus on research. After successful projects are identified, then an outreach and education plan is developed, and that's a separate activity. One thing we do want to share is that we encourage bi-state, multi-institutional, and agency projects, and also interdisciplinary projects when possible. This competition is focusing on 4 focus areas which align with our strategic plan. One is healthy coastal ecosystems. Another focus area is sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, and the third one is resilient communities and economies. There are very specific priorities nested within these focus areas, and they are also outlined in the pre-proposal. The funding level for these 2-year projects, you can submit a proposal for 1 year or 2 years if you'd like, but the funding level can be no more than $65,000 per year. That's federal funding. To be eligible for this competition, the PI must be from an institution of higher education based in Alabama or Mississippi. So PIs, lead PIs must be in Alabama or Mississippi and from an institution of higher education. Co-PIs can be from other institutions, nonprofits, commercial organizations, can be individual people as well as from different governments. You can see that listed here. The review of our pre-proposals, we have 4 categories. One is rationale, scientific merit, end-user involvement, expected impacts and application of results. You can see that is also emphasized not just the science piece, but that it could be applied. So we are looking for applied research projects. And then, of course, investigator qualifications. For our pre-proposals, we have a different evaluation process than our full proposals, and we're going to share both those processes right now. But for the pre-proposal, we have a technical review, and it's based on the review criteria that I just shared, as well as the relevance to our strategic plan, and making sure, again, that it addresses the research priority that's explicitly named in the RFP. We will provide the review results to all PIs, and basically the idea of getting the reviews for pre-proposals is it could help inform the development of a full proposal. So some of the input can be incorporated as you develop a full proposal. In addition, the technical reviewers will make a suggestion of either encourage or not encourage the PI to submit that as a full proposal. That doesn't exclude anybody from submitting a full proposal that submitted a pre-proposal, though. It's just kind of a litmus test, you could say, and if you did receive a not encouraged, that doesn't preclude you from submitting a full proposal. It's completely acceptable to still do that. Our full proposal evaluation, which would not happen until much later in the process, it's a little bit more rigorous. As I mentioned, we have external technical reviewers, 2 or 3 of those, as well as our technical review panel, the same group that's reviewing the pre-proposals. We get 2 reviews for each proposal there. And then also our advisory council looks at blinded versions of the proposals, and they do a relevancy review of the projects that the technical reviewers deemed as fundable. I'll pause right here. Does anybody have questions about that process before we start talking about more of the logistics of submitting information? Loretta, do you have anything you'd like to add? Amanda? So what we're looking for this year in our pre-proposal process are a few different forms, and we'll show you exactly how to get those. But the brief overview of that is we'll ask for investigator information form and CVs. and that includes for the PIs and co-PIs. Support letters are highly encouraged. They're not required, but we do give an opportunity to submit support letters. A pre-proposal budget worksheet, a pre-proposal signed commitment form, and then a pre-proposal narrative form. That's actually information you'll populate within the eSeaGrant interface, and we'll share with you more details on that. But you can see the list of topic areas that need to be covered in the narrative. We do require a match, so for every $2 of federal requested, there needs to be a $1 non-federal match. But match can take the form of many different forms, including in-kind salary, waived indirect costs, cash. There's other options as well. And if you have questions about that specifically, you can talk to Amanda, our fiscal officer, and she can work with you on identifying what may qualify as non-federal match and what may not. As far as letters go, there's two different types of letters that are requested for this RFP for the pre-proposal phase. One is, again, optional. That's the support letters. Those would come from end-user groups who will be using the research that you're proposing to do. If they describe the benefits of the project, their involvement in the project, and how they're going to directly use the research results in their work, we've found that those proposals tend to fare better than proposals that do not have support letters. The second letter, the signed commitment letter, is required, and that's basically from the lead institution, the PI's institution, and that basically is a letter that indicates that they're committed to the project and the budget that's being requested. It's a form that can be downloaded from eSeaGrant. We'll show you that in just a little while. The timeline that we're working at, we basically have 1 month from now is when pre-proposals are due, and then PIs are notified after we do the technical review panel. They're notified by April 21st. Full proposals, again, whether you're encouraged or not encouraged, you can still submit that full proposal, but it must be submitted by June 9th. Funding decisions are made by September 8th, and then there's the development of the outreach and education plans in October, and the projects would start roughly one year from now. February 1st, 2018 is when the projects would start. So again, I'll pause. Does anybody have questions or comments? Okay, so a couple points of reference for you. If you do have questions about the priorities that are listed in the RFP, you can contact the director of our program. That's LaDon Swan. He unfortunately had a conflict today, so was unable to be part of this webinar, but you can see his email address and his phone number. For eSeaGrant forms and formatting questions, those can go to Loretta List, who you all know is on the phone right now, and fiscal questions to Amanda Seymour. So what I'm going to share right now is the web page. I'm assuming you've seen the web page because that's how you found out about this call. But this is where you can get all the resources that you'll need to submit a pre-proposal. There's basically 3 forms or three downloadable files here that you can get. One is the request for pre-proposals, and you can that I just summarized in the PowerPoint. You can get much more detail in this Word document or this PDF. The other piece that you can get of information is the eSeaGrant instructions. That is right here. I'm going to give just a very brief overview of eSeaGrant in just a minute, but if you want detailed step-by-step instructions on how to use eSeaGrant, you can download that and view that here. It's about 50 different slides here that provide detail. If you have questions about it, you definitely can contact Loretta or me, and we're happy to work through that process with you. And then finally, the strategic plan. That's what is anchoring this RFP and driving this RFP. So if you want some additional context on why we have certain research priorities, you can look at the strategic plan. Also, in the full proposal phase, it's helpful, if not in the pre-proposal phase, in the full proposal phase, to reference how there's direct linkages to the strategic plan. Does anybody have questions at this point about the website, or Loretta or Amanda, do you have anything you'd like to add? Okay. Great. So the last piece that I'd like to share is a brief tutorial on eSeaGrant. As I mentioned, this is a new online, it's both reporting and proposal submission interface that's on the computer. It's web-based. Roughly 12 other Sea Grant programs are also using this, so quite a few programs around the country have adopted EC Grant. They're using it slightly differently, but this is how we are using it for our program. So basically, if you clicked on the link to EC Grant, which you can see right here, you'll get to this page, and I don't believe anybody on this line has registered yet, so I'll share with you how you register. So if you click, this is the landing page for EC Grant, so if you click register, right here you can put your first name, your last name, and email address, indicate that you're not a robot, and you'll get an automated email that will share your password that you can then use to log in. So once you register here, you won't automatically log in. You'll have to check your email and then find your password, and then you'll go to the login page, enter your username, which is your email address, and your password. Then you click login. So it's pretty straightforward, but it takes just a few minutes to set it up. Once you log in, this is what you would see. Across the top, you can see your name, and then there's several different tasks at the top. I'm going to pause for just a second and go back to our PowerPoint so you can see kind of what your first step is. So again, you'd want to register first, and then you can upload your required documents, fill in forms through the system, and the EC Grant instructions are on the website, as I pointed out. So your first step is to register, and what you'll want to do is have both the PI register and any potential co-PIs for your pre-proposal. You will want them to register sooner rather than later, because that will make your life a lot easier when you go to upload the final proposal. So before starting your proposal or the pre-proposal process, again, have the PI and each co-PI register through EC Grant. I just shared that process with you. So once you register, it says PI and each co-PI must log in and complete their profile. This is how you would do that. You click on your name and you click My Profile. Okay, and so you can only change your own profile. So if you're the PI, you'll log in and then you'll update your profile, and the way you do that is by hitting the Edit button, and you have the opportunity to edit any of these fields, and then you hit Save at the end. Okay, and then you'll want to encourage your co-PIs to also log in and do the same thing. Does anybody have any questions about registering or updating your profile? All right. So a couple points that we'd like to make about registering and completing your profile is once you start writing the pre-proposal, only the PI can access and submit that. So you can add a co-PI to your proposal, but your co-PI cannot change the proposal that's written. So you'll want to work with them closely, and then you will be the responsible person, if you're the PI, to actually submit the proposal. And also, one nice thing about registering, you only need to do that once and update your profile one time. Once you do that, you're in the system. So even if you're a co-PI on 2 or 3 other pre-proposals, let's say, you're already in the system, so you don't have to repeat this step. And it also will be kept moving forward into the future. So other Mississippi-Alabama Sea Grant Consortium RFPs, you'll be in the system, so it'll be easy to pull up your profile that way. So the next step is to prepare documents for the pre-proposal, and there's 2 pieces or 2 parts to this. A couple of these forms you will actually download, complete, and then re-upload, and others you'll prepare prior to submission. So I'm going to walk through that here. So we'll go back to the landing page under Current Tasks. You would say you would add a proposal right here, and we would just name it whatever. You'll have an opportunity to change the name of that proposal. And then this is the interface where you're actually adding pieces of your pre-proposal and also downloading forms that have to be completed. So just to give a very broad overview on how this works, you can see over here on the left, there's several different pages here, and each of these pages is going to ask you to either complete a form or download a form, complete it, and then re-upload it. So one shortcut way to navigate all the different sections is on the left. The other way, if you want to go stepwise, is you can hit the next button at any point. So again, you would put right here your proposal title, keywords, project initiation, completion date. You would update that information and then hit next. And you would, again, just go stepwise through this. The great amount of detail has been put in the user guide instructions, which you can download from the website. You'll want to add your CV right here. So the way you would do that is edit yourself, and then at the end it says browse, and you can upload a CV, resume, or bio that way, and save. And then if you have a co-PI, you would add another investigator. And this is where I was talking about how once you're in the system, and we're encouraging you to get co-PIs in the system, once you start putting someone's name in, it will actually identify who that person could be. So, for example, I'm going to put in Amanda, who's our fiscal officer. If she was the co-PI for our project, or for my project that I'm a PI for, you can see it automatically started populating her information. You will still need to get a CV from your co-PI and upload that yourself, but at least all the contact information for her was already uploaded and saved. Any questions about that part in the process? Okay. So the other tabs, you can see there's support letters, pre-proposal budget workbook, commitment form, and narrative form. I'll go one more time back to our prepared documents. There's two that you have to download. One's the commitment form. That's the institutional commitment form that must be signed and uploaded as a PDF. And the other one's the budget workbook form. So you can go and see where those are. Right here, you have a pre-proposal commitment form, and you would go to this template and you would click this. This would let you download the form so you could complete it, get your sponsored programs to sign it, and then you would just go to add pre-proposal commitment form and upload it. So the nice thing with eSeaGrant too is it remembers where you are. So maybe today you download the commitment form, but you can come back 5 days from now or 2 weeks from now and then upload the completed commitment form. So you don't have to do this all in one sitting. The other place where you can download is the budget workbook. Here you can see you download the Excel file, you'll complete the Excel file, and then re-upload it. So those are the two places where you're going to download a form, complete it, and upload. The other piece that we did want to emphasize here is the narrative form. We're encouraging everybody to work on your narrative in a Word document so then you can just copy-paste it into the actual narrative form. So when you go to add MASGC pre-proposal narrative form, when you click that, you can see it is actually a form where you're filling in different cells here. And once you're done, you hit save. We just wanted to point this out. It's best to do this in a Word document because this is the one place where eSeaGrant will not save your work. So if you only completed the rationale and the objective and you don't hit save, that may be lost. So it's easiest to complete this form all in one sitting and then hit save. So as you move through this process, you'll be uploading forms. You have a submission preview. This is where you can download a PDF of what you're about to submit. You can also download the pre-proposal documents as a zip file, so all these as independent files that you can keep for your records and share with your co-PIs. Once you feel comfortable with what you're about to submit, all you have to do is hit the submit button. And if you hit a submit button, it confirms that you want to do that. You would hit yes. There's also a warning here that says, well, you haven't really submitted or completed these pieces. Let's say you don't have support letters. That's okay. You can still press continue. But this is just a step in the process that will let you know if some of your forms are missing, so you can go back and double check and make sure you've uploaded the things that you wanted to upload. Your budget workbook, your commitment form, your narrative form, those are all required. So if you saw a warning about those, you definitely would want to go back and make sure it's been uploaded correctly. Again, if you have any problems or questions, please let us know, and we're happy to work through the process with you. So if you hit continue and you submitted it, you will get an email that says it was successfully submitted, and see here that there's a resubmit button. So as long as if the due date hasn't expired, and you can always see the due date and the time right here, and then the number of days left is up here. So there's 2 spots where you can see how much time you have left. But as long as if the RFP is not closed, you can resubmit, and basically you can go back in here, and let's say you got an additional support letter. You can update your PDF and then upload all your support letters as a single PDF to this, and then hit resubmit, and that will basically overwrite your previous submission. You'll get another email that confirms that your submission was successful. So that's kind of the steps to prepare the documents and then to upload the documents. As I mentioned, the PI does not need to upload all the files at one time. eSeaGrant saves each upload and remembers where the PI stopped, as I mentioned. You'll click that submit button, and then just some other details I've already gone over, so you can see that in writing here. But the narrative form, again, we encourage you to work on that in a Word document that then gets copy-pasted over. And if you don't get a confirmation email for some reason, please check with us. There have been cases where the confirmation email may go into your clutter or your junk mailbox. Just double-check that too. And then you'll have confirmation that it was submitted. As a PI, you can submit more than one proposal. Just make sure that basically you would add it. I'll share that last piece here. So if you go back to current tasks, you can see that our test for demonstration, the status of that was submitted. If you wanted to add a second proposal, you just go to add proposal and then call it your whatever you want to call it, and then you continue onward from that. And you create it as a new document, as a new proposal. So I'll pause. Loretta or Amanda, do you have anything you'd like to add at this point?
No.
Are there any questions from anybody on the phone? Right. I believe Kelly Samick may be on the phone as well. Kelly's from the National Sea Grant office. I'm not going to, well, I guess I am pointing you out, but do you have any things you wanted to add to this discussion?
No, just hey, everybody, I am here and listening in, but everything sounds good.
All right. Well, great. Again, we will be here able to answer your questions, so please do not hesitate to contact us at any time about the submission, about research priorities, about fiscal questions. We look forward to hearing from you and look forward to getting your pre-proposal or several pre-proposals. So thank you very much. We kept this in at right under half an hour, so thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to talking with you.